Welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world who are here sharing their insights and wisdom so we can all grow together. I'm your host, Heidi Schalk, co-founder of HLH Growth Solutions, where we help businesses scale using outside of the box visibility methods. And if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We're excited to have you here today. Please stay to the end because we have a special gift for you. But I'd like to kick off this session with my amazing guest. I think you're going to love her as much as I do. We've been chatting a little bit behind the scenes. So welcome Gloria DeGaetano with Parent Coaching Institute to the podcast. So happy to chat with you, Gloria.
Thank you. Thanks, Heidi, for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Gloria, can you kick us off and share with us a little bit about yourself, about your company and your role within it?
Well, I'm an educator by trade and have been in education in a variety of capacities, from university instructor, first classroom teacher, then an administrator in reading and language arts for elementary and junior high schools. So I have a deep background in education before I started the Parent Coaching Institute, and before I started, what I wanted to do was provide a coaching model for people working in family support, professionals working with parents. And we know, as an educator, I know the importance of an inquiry-based model to get people thinking. And that was the spark. But then I had I left education in the late 80s, and I spent the 90s working with parents. Found some things that worked in terms of research, in terms of cutting edge, that are used in businesses, used by Navy SEALs, but not understood about behavior changes in the normal, ordinary human being, the common folk. And I thought, we got to get this. We got to get this information to parents.
Yeah.
And spent a decade getting that information and seeing how effective it was. And so then all of that prompted me to start Parent Coaching Institute.
I love it. So, Gloria, you launched an international company built on an idea that a few people had ever heard of at the time. So what was your biggest hurdle in getting others to enroll or believe in your vision?
First, I had to believe in my vision first, but I think, Heidi, I should give you a little background how it started. I was looking at getting my consulting firm basically scaled, and I had been speaking internationally around technology, media, had written several books about parenting well in a media age, screen smarts. These were some of the very first books out about family media literacy. In fact, I coined family media literacy because I thought it was so important in 1995. And so I spent a lot of time internationally with growing consulting. And I thought, how do I scale? So I hired a coach. I hired an executive coach in 1999. And this man, he was in Chicago. I was in Seattle. I talked with him weekly. And one day I'm thinking, gosh, he's asking me some really great questions. Wow. He's getting me to think about what I really value. God, and now I know what I'm saying is not aligned with what I'm doing. And I go, coaching. I wonder if there's anything like parent coaching. That was the beginning. And there wasn't even Google at the time. It was, I don't know, all these different search engines that I can't even remember what their names were because Google took over.
Right.
And, and so I looked up parent coaching. There was nothing. And I thought, this is a way to help parents by an inquiry-based model, which was a natural segue from my educational base. So I had to believe in it and think about what I had just talked to you about, that research that I was combining in terms of strength-based approach. How do we support people to amplify their strengths, to grow? Your focus is growth, and that's what coaching is about too. It's about growth, human potential. How do we grow our potential? And we do it by a reflective inquiry process and a strength-based approach. So those were like, I knew that. There's not many things in life that I can say, well, I think I know. But the research of 40 years with the strength-based approach is pretty, you can't really dispute it. And it wasn't being activated. It's hard to activate because we have so many challenges and problems. And we don't want to trivialize the challenges at all. So Siegelman talks about authentic happiness, and it's got to be authentic. So what I had brought in, and this was the other thing I believed in that helped propel me, is a living system approach. And so you see, in our technology age, we have a mindset and a paradigm that is fairly mechanistic. We're thinking like we're machines, but we're not. We're not. And there are certain rules, principles, if you say, that living systems operate under, from a cell, an atom, to the universes. They all have certain principles that we as human beings also have in order to change and to grow. So I believed in those principles as I had seen applying them, all that time in my consulting. So I think, to answer your question in a nutshell, is believing in what you're creating. And it's new, it's never existed before. This I love. And a lot of entrepreneurs, people who start businesses, are really creators. They feed on generativity. They feed on what is not been there before. And this is what we need. We need so much more innovation, and the innovators, because they're they're the people that don't fit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few things you said there that I love. One is belief in yourself, but I want to come back to that. It's the passion that you have for it. Obviously that matters, right? And, I think if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, especially like if you can do a 9 to 5 and not love it, right? We want people to love what they do. But if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, I hope you really love what you do and you have a passion for it, because it's hard. It's not easy. It's not an easy road to take. And I love that you said that. So you could tell that you're lit up and you're passionate about it just by listening to you speak. Another thing you said, we'll go to what you shared about the belief in yourself. You have to believe in yourself if you want others to believe in you, right? Your belief must be stronger than those that believe in you, especially when it's something new and maybe something that somebody's not heard of before, because you think of all those inventors, it hasn't been invented before. That's why they're inventing it. And you need to be passionate and have that belief system in it. So yeah, I love that, everything you said.
I think the belief system has to be, though, evidence-based. That,
Yes.
it's like, it's not pie in the sky. And what I think we have to do is trust our own experiences. And so trusting my experiences in the traditional school system and what I see was missing when I worked with parents, what I saw, the questions kept coming to me as a consultant that I couldn't answer in 5 minutes, or if I answered it, it would be a fix-it approach. And we know that does not work. And I wish I had time to talk with them and ask them questions about their specific situation, and I could have given them a better response. And so all of that frustration that built with me, within a consulting mode, and then when I was being coached. So sometimes the other thing is we gain experience and we don't trust it, right? We don't believe in, or the coincidences that happen. So I'm in frustration. I don't know what to do with my business. And I hire a coach. And then from there, that was where the idea sparked. So I think trusting our intuition, most innovators, are the intuitor learning style. If you look at the Jungian model, right, there are 4 in Carl Jung's personality types: the feeler, the thinker, the sensor, which deals with action and practicality, and the intuitor. Steve Jobs, intuitor. Bill Gates, intuitor. You intuit what people might need, or you're thinking in the future. The intuitor lives in the future and can be, 20 years ahead. Basically, that's what happened to me. I mean, it's just now I'm being asked, but this is a 20-year-old company. So you see, yeah.
Yeah, so we need patience along with all those other things. We also need patience, consistency, and persistence. So, Gloria, can you share for those? I'm a parent, and I know that there's other parents who are listening too. How do you help the parents? Like, what is if who should be reaching out to you if they what's the problem you solve? And let's start there because we may raise our hand and go, oh wait, I need Gloria, but we want to make sure that that you're the right person for us and we're the right person for you also.
Right. Well, the coaching model that I developed and the coaching program, we train professionals to become certified now. We're affiliated with two universities and we have a graduate program, a year-long program to train. So that program graduates family support professionals and counselors and therapists and social workers, daycare providers, people that have been working with parents. That's part of the prerequisite for coming into the program. And we support any parenting challenge, okay? Because these people come in with expertise. Say a child care director or a Montessori director, they have expertise in early childhood, toddler tantrums, sibling rivalry with the new baby and the 2-year-old. And so they would address those issues. When with the coaching model, which lends itself from pre-child to pregnant couples to, you know, grown and flown and out of the nest. So anything in between that the parent is struggling with can be a sounding board to work with the coach. And there's nothing to fix. We want to draw out the strengths of the parent, draw out the strengths of the children involved, or often work with couples and look at how to apply those strengths to the challenges. Because when we're under stress and we have great frustrations, we're not usually thinking about our strengths. We're not really seeing them in many cases. And so the coach is a reflective mirror there. And of course, the expertise. I coach parents around technology issues. I wrote, a book on violent video games, for instance, media literacy. My last book is on research and the 60 years of research that shows, the impact on 15 areas of child and adolescent development. So what we want to do is meet children's developmental needs while we prepare them for this incredible world of AI and high-level technology. But that means we need the smartest and wisest kids on the planet. So we have our work cut out for us as parents.
Yeah, I just saw everything you just said reminded me of something I read the other day, and I don't remember her name, but it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's and Maria Shriver's daughter. She is married now to Chris Pratt, I think he is who she's married to. And she mentioned that she hired a coach to support her in being a stepmother because they were getting married and she's becoming. I was like, that is fantastic. I wish more people would do that in that environment because it's a lot of transition for everyone involved, so everything you said is like spot on, and I love that you have so many different options and ways that you can support parents because it's a lot. There's no manual. We don't get a manual in this journey.
Continual transition, continual adaptation, continual creativity, generativity, continual thinking out of the box, continual observing the child or the teen and what is going on with them, continual testing, exploration. So when they have somebody who has some expertise in either the child or adolescent development or in a certain area, we're asking questions that, get them to think. And a lot of times in the executive coaching world, they talk about the coach being the thinking partner for the client. And that's what we are for parents. We're thinking together and it's high energy and they find so many, I mean, they so appreciate themselves better. This is what, and they gain confidence in their particular style, their particular way of being, and really solidify their relationships with their children in a beautiful way. It's very rewarding work. I love it, obviously. I love it.
I love that. I love how much passion you have around it. So Gloria, as someone who didn't come from a traditional business background, what did you have to learn or unlearn to grow PCI successful?
Well, you talked about patience. Learn to accept my mistakes. And, I had sought out business consultants. And I don't know if you know Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach. You do. Okay, I went to his seminars and
Okay.
learned a lot. He coaches entrepreneurs for those people who don't know, and people that are starting business. I was in way over my head in the first one, but and there were some things I had to learn and unlearn, and we get back to trusting myself. So here's one of them. Dan says make a decision is better than no decision. So I made a quick decision to change my LLC to a nonprofit because I thought I could grow it easier as a nonprofit entity. And this was around 2008. 2007 to 2009 was my experiment with it being a nonprofit. But it was a nightmare. I could not attract donations, and I was not a director of a nonprofit. I realized that. And I had to really go into myself and think, how do I operate? What are my strengths? And thank God I have a background in personality style theory, but I wasn't trusting my intuition. I really wasn't. And around 2010, 11, somewhere in there, I said, I got to watch this strength and see. And one of the things that I started doing, which is so non-business-like, but I didn't make a decision unless I was crystal clear about it. And it took time. And there were a lot of hardships because I wasn't making a decision. And it might have looked like I was really passive, but it worked for me because then wow, I didn't make a decision about expanding our social media for several years, and it was like we're hitting and missing, and there's all these people who know so much about social media and wanted our business. I just couldn't do it, and now I have the exact team I need. I'm so excited about what we're doing. I know what they can do, and they have a huge track record that I really respect. So it was in the right place. Was it worth it? I don't know. If it was worth waiting 2 years for, but I'm happier. I feel like we're in a better place because of it, and I feel clearer on the decisions I'm making.
There's a good point there because action brings clarity. And I think that's a lot of where Dan is like, you need to make a decision because decisions, if you sit in indecision, you're stalling and you're not growing. But
Right.
if decisions, action brings clarity. But at the same time, you need to know yourself and what timeline or what those decisions and how those decisions are made work best for you. And don't compare your chapter 1 with somebody else's chapter 10. Don't compare your chapter 2 with somebody else's chapter 20. Just because somebody else may be further or may be moving faster doesn't mean in your world, in your bubble, in your life, that's the same pace you should be going at. And I think for you, it worked out how it should, right? Everything unfolds as it should, and we're all in our own timeline. And I'm glad that you shared that because I think that's important for people to realize. Because there's many times I sat there and looked at somebody else and I'm like, oh my gosh, they got here in a year and I'm still here, or
Yeah.
I'm just a little further. But for my life, being a single mom with 2 children, had I moved that fast, I probably would have fallen on my face because I couldn't move that fast.
No, no, you couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And this is the integrity of the system. This idea of our identity, who we are as people, outside of gender identity I'm talking about core identity. Our identity is our self-referencing system. And so we reference ourselves and others based on who we believe we are. And if we are out of integrity, the coherency just starts falling apart. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in your integrity by pacing yourself with everything else going on that people don't even know about. And this is the core of why I wait too, or I don't want to lose integrity. And I've had people who want to buy the business or whatever, and it's out of integrity. It's like, no, I'm not making an app on this. This is not about a parent coaching app. It won't work, actually. A quick fix doesn't work. We know that. Look around us. The whole society's collapsing. I know what works and I'm going to stay with what works. So saying no to lucrative offers is not easy, but it's easier when you say, no, this is not in our integrity to do it. So we're still standing after these many years and growing and expanding.
My next question for you is, how have you seen, because you've been doing this since the like 1990s, late 1990s, how have you seen the concept of parent coaching evolve? Because I'm sure it's evolved a lot. And what kind of societal or systemic impact has PCI had that you're most proud of?
Wow, that's a great question. I could think about that for a minute. But first of all, PCI came on paper in 2000. I was thinking about it in 99. And then 2002, 2003, we had 5 people that had gone through the training program with the university I was teaching at the time. And parent coaching from there, in 2002, I was featured in the Wall Street Journal on parent coaching. And that started, getting your little sketch and all that. That sort of started other people creating parent coach programs and training programs. And so it started cascading from there. And I would say people didn't know what it was. They thought you were a sports coach. We had to explain that we're not doing sports coaching for youth. And what is a coach? And I would always say, and I still do, the top elite athletes, the opera singer, the ballerina, the elite ballerinas have a coach or more than one to support their strengths. So there was always this deficit model that we had to overcome. We're still working on that deficit model. Poor parent, they need a coach. No, see, you wouldn't do that with a HR director or a CEO, would you? No, you wouldn't say, poor CEO, they have a coach for their business. And I am still wanting to get parent coaching on that level of the executive coach. I'm an executive coach. I coach entrepreneurs. I coach business leaders, thought leaders. Well, who are the most important thought leaders on the planet? Parents. Absolutely. They are the future of our planet. And so respecting the parent and respecting the expertise of the parent and the experiences. So that has been a challenge. It's not as big of a challenge as it used to be. And of course, people finding work as a parent coach. I mean, I had people say, what are you creating something where people can't find a job, Gloria? And it was like, oh God, it was like I had such, there's a responsibility here. So we reached out to organizations and God, schools, and would you hire, a parent? Yes. And now we have many organizations, actually people coming to me and say, do you have any graduates for us? Because, well, they like our program better. It's a year-long program. They get 100 hours of coaching practice. Nobody else does this. So there are people that are saying they're parent coaching, certified. But the problem becomes education. We're so used to training and education that often it gets watered to that rather than a coaching inquiry-based model that is like executive coaching or life coaching, where it's about the person. Marsha Reynolds, an executive coach, has a book we use in our program. It's called Coach the Person, Not the Problem. And this has helped separate for us the other problem because parents come, we want this fixed. We want this fixed. Okay. We're not going to coach the problem. We're coaching you to parent to resolve the challenge. We don't even want to say fix it. We don't even want to say problem. We want to say resolve the challenge because there's always challenges. There will always be. So how do we empower you to resolve your challenges? That's what it's about. So I think those mindsets about parent coaching, what is getting now much more. I think there's more respect for it because it's more out there. But I still think we have the deficit model. And I think also it's it's a parent education program rather than parent coaching. And I love parent education and consulting. I've done it, and there's an education component in coaching, but it's the process that is so key to the empowerment and as you're so interested in growth, in the growth
Yeah.
of the parent. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to talk about growth now with you as far as like your business and supporting our listeners on growing their business. So you mentioned some things in marketing and that you've done, but what are some of the challenges you faced in growing your business? You've been in business now for a long, long time, and I'm sure you've been through a lot of ups and downs. You mentioned just one, the deficit of understanding parent coaching from the beginning, especially when you were coaching when coaching really wasn't popular. People were they're thinking it's a sports coach or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
right.
coaching was affiliated with that type of athletic coach. So now at some point, I think somewhere in the 2020, 30 or 2032 to 2035, they say that everybody will probably have a coach at that point. So it's definitely well known more now than ever than it was before. But what are some of the challenges you faced in your growth and in growing your business, and how did you overcome them?
I think getting the word out was the biggest thing. Getting the word out to professionals to say, why invest in this training to be a certified parent coach? I think that was a main thing. And again, it was word of mouth, a lot of networking because there wasn't the social media platforms or all kinds of now press releases you can get out, which we do. There that didn't exist. You couldn't, get word out. So it was still calling people, calling referrals, people I knew from my past work, and just really doing the hard day to day. People think, oh, it's 5 hours of calling people. No, it's 20 hours or 30 or 40 a week just of marketing. And I think part of small business owners, they underestimate how much work it is in the beginning for that rocket liftoff. And if you give that really emphasis and that focus in the beginning, it's going to pay off. And that's what happened. I really am persistent and I did believe in it. And I thought it would be helpful. And knowing people, your referral network, and being persistent, I would say, were the things in the beginning. And now the challenges are more the social media really getting attraction in 3 seconds, how to help get that going. That's a challenge that we're working through with various experts in social media domain and looking at ways to help people know, help parents know that it isn't there's not this curse to have a parent coach yet. I think that's the biggest challenge, getting out of that deficit model.
Yeah. So visibility wise, what's working for you right now as far as getting in front of and staying in front of? You mentioned the 3 seconds, having to get that, that attention on you in 3 seconds. And then maybe have you tried that hasn't worked for you? So both sides of the coin.
Well, what hasn't worked, which I mean, we have 7,000 followers on Facebook, and that's all right. But what hasn't worked is just putting up any kind of information for parents. Other people can put it up and they get shares, or we don't. It doesn't share. So we're now working on short videos. We found that the videos we did, why IPCI, we did a video project, again, getting back to the why, the purpose of why we do things. People are interested in that. And so the short videos have been working. And that's what we're going to continue. Short videos to support parent information, things that they might not know, that type of thing that could be supportive in the day to day of young, parents of young children, parents of school age and teens. So we're looking at that and working on that. So we're encouraged about the short videos. The other piece of it is now that we have graduates, we have a very supportive international community of over 1,000 people who have been through the program, and they are supporting each other. And so there's this exponential growth that happens because they're supporting each other in their business building, and we're able, from the central office, able to support them in their business building. And that just it's growing organically because of that.
Yeah. So goal wise, what's next for PCI? What's your big goals for, let's say, the next 12 months?
The next 12 months, I refreshed my personal website because I haven't been visible, since the 90s, really. When I gave up my speaking for starting PCI. And a few years ago, my husband passed away, Heidi.
I'm
And so
sorry.
I'm at this stage of, well, what could I do that could be interesting or meaningful still to carry on? And living in a world of artificial intelligence really attracts me. Why am I still here? And what could I offer? What could I help? So I had a redesign of my personal website, and I'm hoping I have some of my books up there and having some online courses for parents directly from my work on
Mhm.
technology is the next phase. And that, of course, will support people interested in our program because a lot of family support professionals tell me they're attracted to PCI because one of the courses, one of the 4 courses for their training to be a parent coach is on the technology issues.
Yeah, I love that you're doing. I did see your website, your personal website as well, and it looks amazing. And I love that you talk about tech because one, I'm a mom of 2 teenagers, and tech, they know more than tech, more about tech than I do in certain arenas. And we are support people on the back end of their businesses, so we know a lot about tech, but they know a lot about different things as far as what they do, and it's interesting the gap there. And I love that you help parents with that as well, because I think that's an important piece, especially with AI on the forefront, because it evolves so fast and it's not going anywhere. It's only growing. So to have someone that like you who is in the parenting arena helping parents with that, I think is fantastic. So yeah, thank you for doing that.
Passion. I've been doing it since 1987
Mm,
and growing with it and growing the research with it because I think if we don't get tech right, it's very hard to get other things right.
yeah, absolutely. So if I could give you a magic wand, Gloria, and you could wave it over one issue that you feel like you're going through right now and go poof, take it away, what would it be and why?
Basically, the technology issues with the websites or all the stuff with WordPress. And I'm glad I have people to do this for me, but there are occasions when I need to get involved. And I would rather not. I don't speak that. I'm an idea person. I just want to write my book, my next book, and just be left alone and stare into space most of the time, and have more of that. So I think, yeah, in an ideal world, I wouldn't be bothered with it yet, and maybe have another staff member to do it. But that's on the forefront too. So it's coming where I can just stare into space most of the time.
Yeah. If we could bring you back in a year, Gloria, and revisit this conversation, what does success look like for you in PCI?
PCI will grow, to have more people in our directory, our graduate directory, to support their coaching. And I think we want to keep growing our robust worldwide community. Uh,
Mm.
when my husband was ill and died, before that we did conferences. And last year we had our first conference since 2014, I think was the last. And last year, 2024, yeah, we had our conference in Chicago. So bringing the community together, more conferences, more webinars for parents also to attend with the expertise. We have so much expertise in our community of
Mm.
these incredible professionals who come to our program. I mean, just recently, 2 people published books, and I have a press
Wow.
release about them. One, she did a 15-year project of gifted parents, parents of gifted daughters, neurodivergent daughters, and she has a trilogy of her research on hundreds of mothers of gifted daughters and their challenges, how they overcome them. So, I
Mm.
mean, these people are amazing, and we want
Yeah.
to promote them more. We put it on social media and all, but more ways to get the word out, uh,
Yeah.
helping so many people.
Yeah, network is huge for that, and I love that you're helping and supporting those other people, because I always say we're better together. So the more that we can support others, the more that we're growing as well. But what advice would you give, Gloria, to to other founders who are sitting on a powerful idea, but they worry that no one will get it?
Well, I guess we have to come to a decision. Is it worth it? Is it worth a lot of suffering? Is it worth a lot of financial stress? is it worth it? How much do you believe in it? And yeah, only they can answer that.
And like you said, there has to be also evidence behind it. Make sure that you're doing your market research, that other people need the problem that you're solving. Like when you went into this, you said like it was evidence backed. You knew that people needed your services. So that's one thing I will say is critical from one of the gold nuggets of many that you shared, is that if you have an idea and you want to put something out there and start something new, whether it's you're leaning in, starting entrepreneurship, or you're pivoting into something different, make sure that it's evidence backed. Make sure that you've done the market research, you've talked to people, and there's enough people out there that say, yes, I would want that and need that. Because we can go to market with something and typically we do the first time, right? Gloria will go to market with something and we spend a ton of time on it and crickets, right? So we don't want to do that either. Don't spend a lot of time on something. Like, go to market with something before you fully create it, so that you know that people are actually interested and want it.
That evidence can be the support. It can be the anchor when all the storms come, because they will. And so if you do have the evidence, whether you call it market research or my research and my experience over, 20 years prior, I just knew in my heart, mind, and soul that when parents have the help they need, we change the world. And I say together, we create the world we want for our children. And we're creating that world. Parents are, so we want to help them as much as possible.
Well, thank you for your time, Gloria. Can you share with us how people can connect with you and reach out to you and learn more about PCI?
Yeah, they can go to Parent Coaching Institute and look at the website.
Amazing. And we're going to have all of Gloria's contact information as well as the website on there for you inside the show notes. If you're watching Gloria and I on YouTube, thank you so much for being here with us. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This allows us to alert you when we have more amazing guests like Gloria on our show today, sharing their wisdom and their expertise, supporting you in your growth as well. If you know someone who could benefit from the Parent Coaching Institute, then please share this episode with them. Let them listen to Gloria and her wisdom and knowledge and learn more about the Institute to support them. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, or any others, thank you. If you could leave a review, we would love it. 5 stars preferably. That helps us get this information and Gloria's message and her company out to more people, to support more people in the world. I promised y'all a gift, so here it is. If you are looking to grow your visibility, Gloria mentioned some things that they've been working on, and you feel like it's just not working as much as I want it to, then go ahead and download our Spotlight to Scale blueprint. You can go to spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint for that. Gloria, before we wrap up and I let you go, I'm looking at the time, making sure that we're still good. This has been such a great conversation. Is there anything, last words that you'd like to share that I didn't get to ask you, or we didn't touch on today?
I think you covered a lot of territory, Heidi. I really appreciate it. I'd love to just let parents know, how amazing they are, and there's so much stress and anxiety out there. And often they just don't know their remarkable, extraordinary strengths, and they're just incredible. And I want them to remember that as they go through their challenges.
Thank you so much for that. For those of you listening, please check out Gloria. Again, we'll have all of her links inside the show notes. Go connect with her. She's pretty amazing. As you heard here, you can go to www.thepci.org. That's the website, or you can Google Parent Coaching Institute to easily find them. Gloria, what is your personal site, gloriadegaetano.com?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. Well, we're going to have your name on there. So you can go to Gloria DeGaetano. You can see how to spell it on there, and go check her out, gloriadegaetano.com, because I've been on there and it's pretty amazing. So go check her out there as well. Gloria, thank you for your time today. I'm grateful for you and appreciate you. Thank you all for listening to Gloria and I today, and we will see you on the next episode of the Business Growth Spotlight.